Welcome to another session of podcast where we discuss this beautiful thing called football. I'm Posi Oba. I've got Lekoko on my right.
Bufunos.
Just so that we are clear, we're discussing the Champions League. We're discussing continental matters. Those who are presently there. We're clear, right?
Yeah, no, we're good. We're good. We're discussing African football.
A lot was said.
Yeah.
A lot was created. Yanga wrote a letter to CAF, and CAF have responded back and have said there's no issues that they have there.
Yeah.
Happy with that result from CAF?
We were clear. We were clear from the word go that's not the right platform. You know, it's not going to happen. CAF will entertain things that are coming from the match commissioner, from the referee, and all that. But if you're going to write anything over and above what the match officials that were officiating on the day, really, to be honest, is another matter. And CAF dealt with it accordingly.
Okay. Cox, you got to look at the personnel that's involved in this. The club that's writing the letter is Yanga.
Yeah.
The president of Yanga is also the president of a new formed body within CAF, which is African club football. Was that situation handled correctly?
Just to add on to that, it's a platform that also includes Kaiser Chiefs, Jessica Mutau. She's part of it. Was it handled correctly? I don't think entirely it was handled correctly. There are channels to go and relay your grievances, Mara. The way in which they went on about it, it wasn't, especially for somebody that knows, somebody that's within the structures, somebody that has access to then go. I think it was grandstanding, it was throwing a performance. Them writing this letter, they knew the outcomes before, but it was a matter of saying, let's just do it so that
Would you say maybe it was too soon after the game, emotions are still fresh, and you've purely been driven by emotions?
Look, the letter thing, we've seen it. It happens a lot with Al Ahly. Al Ahly loves writing letters. Maybe they wanted to go through that route. You look at seniors and you go that, but there has to be merit in terms of the letters, and there has to be intentions in terms of why you're writing those letters. Because most of the time, Al Ahly will write letters in the first leg to try to destabilize the opponent in the second leg. So you're writing it, the game is out, you are not going to get anything. It's just like you're hoping for a miracle, else nothing is going to come out of it.
Having said that, Lufuno, you then look at it from a perspective that in that letter you've now accused Sundowns.
Yes.
Does Sundowns have reason to feel aggrieved in terms of what has happened?
Yeah, look, Sundowns, if they petty, they can actually follow up on your letter to say, okay, now we want CAF to say, let this team come and prove their allegations, which is going to be very difficult. But in the bigger scheme, African football is on the rise, and then now you bring these controversial issues around the organization, around the football, Africa in general. It doesn't augur well with what Patrice Motsepe, the president, is already building with his team. The AFL committee, which is the president of Yanga, is there. Had an opportunity to go in a general meeting where you can table this and say, from what we have learned to improve the CAF football in general, let's have such things like your goal technology. Let's increase the cameras in the stadium so that it is clear from the officiating, from the administration point of view in terms of every game, so that everybody can be able to be clear that, the game was fair in the spirit of, FIFA and all that. And if you look at, for example, you look at the AFL tournament, it was incredible. The way it was played, it was viewed all over the world.
Yeah.
The African football was put on the map. So we're in the right track, but it's just actually disappointing when people that are, have the authority will actually go that route instead of actually learn from it, because really there was no way that game will be replayed. There's no chance.
That we've come to know. Cox, here's now, you then move from the one letter Yanga wrote. Somebody wrote a return letter. This time it came from Zurich. It was again to Yanga. Wananchi, what's happening there?
To whom it may concern.
To whom it, no, they were very specific. Those ones is not to whom it may concern. Those ones are very clear. They write to the mother body, which is the Tanzanian Football Association, who will then write you a letter that says, Yanga, this is what's happening. Give us a bit more on that, Cox.
Look, they put out a letter that they got from FIFA. FIFA basically were saying the manner in which the players were acquired, the players were registered, because it's a warning that they've sent out to them before.
No. So it's not just we've given you a warning.
Yeah. And that's where I'm failing to understand, because it's not like you were surprised and you found yourself in hot water. This was warned before to say, look, what you're doing could land you in trouble. They did not pay attention. They didn't heed any call to that. They carried on with that. From a team of Yanga's stature, I'd really expected more, especially as you've indicated earlier on, having somebody that's within the governing body, somebody that knows the law, somebody that within the structure. You have to know these things, and these things will always come back and reflect on the president, because how do you then lead an organization if your team
your own
finds
house is
itself-
not
yes.
in order? So, having said that, Lufuno, you'd remember this is not the first time that Yanga have now got a ban, because there was that dispute that they had with Coach Luke Mile in terms of not paying him, and there was a ban that is there. How does that then, Oga? Because now you're a repeat offender. Now you're starting to have a trend administratively. Does this not damage the Yanga brand and the project that is Yanga?
Yeah.
Because let's be clear, Yanga on the field is something else. Yanga is playing beautiful football, Yanga is going places on the field, but the back office is not backing them. Does this not damage the brand Yanga?
It does, Mpo, because if it's not for the first time and you are a repeat offender, one of the good days you're going to get a very lengthy ban. That in general is going to affect what's going to happen on the field. Because if you are not allowed to sign players for a certain period, it means that now you have to be found wanting in the space that Yanga now is really playing in. You cannot afford to be in the Champions League and you're not signing players and reinforcing your team. Eventually, the administration, what is happening in the background, is going to filter into the field, which in general now start to affect how the team, looks like in terms of football reasons and all that. But for me, when Yanga started this project, there was a guy that they got from South Africa to come and run the Senzo, to run the administrative part of it. I know it happened, then he left and all that. Although he might have left the blueprint. And the blueprint is very important to say this is how we do things administratively. So once you get the administrative part of the football right, you will always find it easy to really move faster on the field. So for Yanga, they really have to take stock, really look at themselves, really start doing things the right way.
And just to add on to that, people take it lightly that you being banned for a transfer period, you can just quickly recover from that. You shouldn't forget that a window, basically, a season gives you 2 years. We've seen teams being banned for 2 windows, and to date, they're still trying to recover from that. It has a ripple effect to try and, because you have to play catch up now with the people that are there. You play
because everybody, the best players are now getting into contract.
They're gone.
Because now you're sitting and you may be sitting where you're going. One of Yanga's best assets is Aziz. He's now going, I don't just want to play in here. I want to be in the knockout stages. I want to be in winning this thing. And there are offers that are coming, but where I am, we can't be able to reinforce that. But then it brings us to a bigger conversation of administrators. You look at the likes of Senzo, he went over, and I heard Simba the other day, they were talking to their former CEO in terms of coming back. Does that say that we need to pay a bit more attention? And from a Yanga perspective, especially with the public perception about Yanga based on public positioning of their president, are they needing to now go back and be able to tune in? Because, you've got seasoned administrators, the Senzos, the Floyd Mbeles, and the Barbaras, and all. Yanga needs to focus on that administrative side.
Go back, look at what was happening, because the minute it takes a lot of time to build a lot of good work, but it takes very short time to destroy all of that, and you have to go back. The tricky part is recovering as quickly as possible. Yes, everybody makes mistakes. Yes, sometimes you might find yourself being arrogant and not being found on the wrong side of the law, but it's how you react to it. And if they could go on now and say, let's fix what we need to do, the image of Yanga, football-wise, on the field of play, they're
beautiful.
Sorted. They got a coach that knows, that understands, a coach that understands the team, players that form the DNA of the team. But you can ruin all of that if the office is not coming to the party. That's where the magic happens. Sort everything out so that players don't have to worry about what's happening in the background. Because once that happens and players start stressing about what's happening at the office, then you've lost the team. We've seen good teams in our league going down basically because of what's happening in the office, and not necessarily because they didn't have the good playing personnel.
Yeah.
Playing personnel is tops, but the office is the most important of the team structure. Sort that out. Everything else takes.
And I think it's a message to all the clubs, be it all the leagues around the continent, to be able to say, sort yourself out. Because when you look at the South African league, you've just got a FIFA ban that's just been given to Richards Bay. And it's such things that then say the league will do well to raise its prospect or profile. And then such issues then come back and then they drag you down. Hope administrators can be able to do that. But gentlemen, we have a big weekend ahead of us. There's two giants of African football that are not scoring and that are playing each other on Saturday, Esperance and Sundowns.
Look, these two teams got big records. Sundowns, I think, it's going for 42, 43, unbeaten. In all competitions, you have Esperance around about 21 games in all competition unbeaten. So it's a big one. So we are looking at, a very, very tough game for both teams. The question is, who's going to score?
Is there VAR? Because Sundowns have VAR issues.
Yeah, Sundowns got VAR issues. Every week we talk about VAR for Sundowns in the PSL and the Champions League. So yeah, the VAR is there. Let's hope the VAR works and everybody is happy and clear. But I think we've got a very tough game between the two teams. With Sundowns coming from back-to-back, 2 games in CAF without scoring against Yanga, have to take into the penalties. That also takes strains because when you're playing too many extra times, we saw it even domestically, they had to play extra time in a domestic cup. So it has an impact on players as well. So look, my view is that Sundowns, when they play against Northern teams, they really play very well. They actually get used to playing these teams all the time. They know how to go there.
So they can soak in the atmosphere,
yes.
They can be able to play the occasion.
Exactly. And I think that should be an approach to say, we go there, if it's risky, we play safe, we still have a second game to contest with these guys. In South Africa, Loftus, 3 o'clock, and it works against the Northern teams. Yeah.
But this time I think it may be Friday. But Cox, from a Sundowns perspective and looking at how they've been setting up and how they're playing, because a lot of teams just go low block. It's almost become the solution to every team. Change your tactics. You've got teams that have been going up front and been able to. But now you come to the stages of the Champions League because now you're meeting people that are your peers. How are we looking? How would you say they must approach it?
Just to bring correction to Lufuno's statement there when he mentioned the 42, that was domestically. So because Mazembe has beaten Sundowns in the Champions League.
Yeah, you're right.
So Sundowns is beatable in the Champions League. It's proven. But I'm looking at it and I'm looking at the fact that the chameleon is missing one piece. There's one piece of the chameleon that I was really relying on that I thought, and you look at that chameleon, you put in that piece, it frees up all the work for everyone. And that piece seems to be constantly injured. And that piece is from Kakamas. That piece,
Rivaldo
Coetzee. You put in a Rivaldo Coetzee there, you've lessened the workload in terms of Ronwen William having to play the ball. Having to be the one that initiates. So now Rivaldo becomes the system. You put in Rivaldo in there, you then have to you free up Tebo having to do less work in terms of coming back. So
today the French Shasha is shooting blanks, Chief.
Yeah, we're shooting blanks, but it happens with all the strikers. I mean, Ribeiro, that is when he needs to carry the team. There was a time Shasha carried the team, and there was nothing wrong with it.
Shasha could just touch a ball, can look at a ball and it'd be a goal.
That's it. But all Shasha has to be there. Shasha's presence, he has to be there because it's only a matter of time. This drought is going to end. You can't be scoring 100+ goals and then people all of a sudden think that you're fluking that. How do you fluke 100 goals? Like it doesn't make sense. Bad periods happen, and Shalulila's work ethic, I see it. Sundowns moving into the match, can they go and win it? I think Rulani needs to understand where they are right now as a team. Don't try and be flashy. Don't try and be pompous. Look at where you are playing. Go there. You have not beaten this team. Coach Pito lost to this team. Say, okay, yes, as much as right now I might be ranked first, but let's put rankings aside. Belgium was once ranked first and
without winning
anything, without even, look at that and say, let me go, be there. If I get a goal, I get a goal. But I need to make sure that the Chameleon does its primary job which is not conceding. If I don't concede, I'm good.
So then the Chameleon needs to adapt. There's a big game, and having spoken about that, Mazembe would have, at the moment, going through a lot with their captain being in hospital. We wish Rainford a speedy recovery. Freak accident that happened, so the pictures and videos. How does the Mazembe team then go into that, Lufuno? Because surely it's emotional. Rainford is a big part of the team. Rainford is the DNA of Mazembe.
He's been there for a very long time.
Sundowns tried to get that man, and Mazembe were not letting him.
Look, I think at this point in time, the Mazembe approach will be, let's play for the captain. Let's play on the emotions, and when the guy comes back, when he recovers, he sees a Champions League trophy sitting in the cabinet. So, look, Mazembe, they're on a high. They're one of the teams that have beaten Sundowns. They went to Pedro and get the result. So they are a very tough team to beat. Very tough team to beat. I spoke about it in the previous podcast when we were here. I already tipped them. They will beat Ahly into over 2 games.
So Lubumbashi, not many return. Lufuno is already coming with predictions. Ahly are very good at going and mudding it out and being able to get a draw or a 1-0.
Yeah, I know if there's one thing that Al Ahly will do is get to a final of the Champions League. They just do it so easily, they don't even have to think about it. I think the primary focus would then be, how are we going to play the final, or who are we playing in the final?
Cox. Check the performance of Ahly against Simba away. And they were very lucky to escape.
But how many times have we said they're very lucky?
But look at the performance of Mazembe against Sundowns in Lubumbashi. Match the two, and then you can talk.
And then you bring in, you've mentioned the Rainford Calaba's accident, and you're saying, look, they're going to play for him. But I've seen what happens most of the time in these instances. You have teams that have been on a high. They have one of the important players going through this, and suddenly they shut down because this thing takes a lot from players, man. We undervalue the amount of a player's presence can do in a team. I really don't see them giving those kind of performance because of what it is that has happened. Yes, if they go out and say, we're going to win this match for him, kudos to them. But it taxes a lot. And it's a bit unfair for them to be expected to give out a performance so soon. Yes, the guy is not well. Yes, the guy can recover fully. But the fact that this guy is in a shock system, having to experience that, I don't see them going through it. Al Ahly will just go there, sit, fold their arms, get one chance. You know what they're going to do with that one chance? They're going to put it in the back of the net.
Wait, gentlemen. There is a small little issue, and we've got 2 minutes left. A place called Lubumbashi. People don't come there and go like they're coming. It's not like you're going to FNB Stadium and you
don't come out alive. As Sundowns.
You come out alive there. I've seen fans in Lubumbashi shouting "Mami Lodi."
Not when not only when the stakes are so high.
Okay.
The stakes are high. This is a semi-final game. Believe me.
Lufuno says Mazembe to win.
Mazembe to win.
You say Ahly to win.
Ahly to win.
But you haven't given me the prediction of the first one, Esperance versus Sundowns.
That one, Sundowns is not going to go there and try and get a call. I'm not scared.
Look at him. He's scared.
I'll give you a prediction for the overall leg. Sundowns is not going to 0-0 draw. Sundowns is going to come back and they'll beat Esperance 2-0. So we sorted. I don't even have to overthink this one. I don't even.
So let me tell you, Esperance will win. And Esperance will go to the final and play Mazembe in the final.
Lufuno says Esperance is going to win. If Esperance win, they need to win the Champions League to be able to go to the World Club Championship. Wow! Bold prediction. It's the same Lufuno who has supported every team that Sundowns has played. And look where Sundowns are. I'm just warning you if you go in with this prediction. But guess what? We're going to watch football over the weekend and we'll be back here to be able to discuss and say what's next for the second leg. And we sign off by saying, football, you're magical. Football, you're beautiful. And that is why we love you.